That looks good.
Are we live now?
You're live, Ola.
Welcome to another unauthorized and rum-fueled treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands with Gatsby D, Diving Queen, raae, and her Nattermob pirate, Paul the Navigator.
Hello.
And Ola. It is my profound pleasure to give you our guest, the great and powerful pirate, Bart Peter.
Hello.
Yeah. So for pirate programmers who are meeting you for the first time, could you tell us what you do on Gatsby Island?
I am the sailing master for the technical crew.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So Paul and Benedicte?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go.
Should we just take it away?
Yes.
All right. Let's jump straight in. So then this week we're going to be using the file system root API to create a page for each of the YouTube videos that we sourced last week using the Gatsby node extension point source nodes. So we're going to use, I think, what we've been calling curly roots. I think we have previously discussed why it's called file system root API, because the file system becomes the root API, but it's affectionately known to us as curly roots. So
I think for Ula calls them parrot pages.
Parrot pages, okay.
Yeah. So to keep with
Why?
the theme, I think it is because Ula, when he learns to is learning to code, like he draws a lot of doodles, and somehow the curly brackets became parrots.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll show you later. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's fitting with our theme. So maybe we should just call them whatever you want, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, on
Let's keep
a side note, I saw something this week about in node 16 you can export syntax. So you could in fact export syntax so the parrots are curly braces, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know. I saw a tweet and someone used the poo emoji, so I was like, okay, that got my attention. Anyway, should we dive straight in then? So we want to, if you've got your terminal handy, Benedicte, just run Gatsby develop or npm run develop, and we need to have a look at Graphql when it starts up.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first bit I want to do is investigate what nodes we have available, and these will influence what we put in between the curly braces in the parrot pages. So first of all, we need to find out what we've got in Gatsby's Redux store, I guess, Vord. Is that fair to say? The internal data layer?
Yeah, we store everything in a Redux store. But you would just say data layer, basically, everything that's in the Gatsby's data layer.
Cool. And I see we have some people here from last time. Meltwater and AK is here. And AK is our moderator of the day. Or Agata Maria. She is on in the comments. Oh, we got our local host up and running. And then anybody who's watching, please retweet our tweet, and some more people can join us live. Let me see.
Here we go. So get rid of all of that, and all we want is just an open and closing curly brace. There was something I wanted to ask you from last time, and I know Graphql is good for using that nav on the left. Do you ever use the command space option?
The what?
So if you if you press command and then spacebar.
Let me see. Well, I can't, because Alfred has taken up that on my computer. I'll quit Alfred then.
Sorry, option. It's option spacebar. My mistake.
And now we're back to my horrid keyboard, because I don't even know what. There we go.
So this will give up all available queries. It's like a short list. So I think if you scroll down a little bit, you should be able to see YouTube, which was the source node we created last week.
This is a good tip. I didn't know that. Here's a little. I guess you didn't make this though, Gatsby, but a little bit of a, note.
I think this was it Ricky Ford who did this?
No, I didn't. This is open source Graphql, and we just use it in Gatsby. We did a few extensions, like the code exporter is what we
Oh yeah, we used
added.
that actually, didn't we?
Just to make it easier for our users to like generate page queries. Because else,
actually, I think maybe we should use that then, because we on a previous stream we did actually do that, didn't we? And I hadn't seen it previously, so maybe we should do that. Yeah.
Let's do the code. Right. Okay, so YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Then we want a curly bracket, open close.
Another one.
Yep, and then do your command space again. That should give us all available options on YouTube. And we want snippet, and then curlies again, and then option space. And let's just look at the title. So now if you run...
Prettify, I can't look at this. So Prettify, okay. Now we're good.
Press play and run that. So if we ignore the data object key for the time being and just look at, I guess it's just what would be JavaScript object syntax. We've got YouTube.snippet.title would be the object notation. Yep. So we're going to use similar syntax for the parrot pages, curly roots, file system root API. But where it differs slightly is a nested object is denoted with a double underscore.
Yep.
So our page, our file name, if you like, inside of the curly brackets will be YouTube. Okay, sorry. Do you want to go over to VS Code? I got a bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but do you know also what I remembered we talked about last time, that we should kind of go a little bit more into depth what we're trying to do, because we forgot to do that on the last stream. So if we just stop here and like explain exactly what we want to do. So we want to take these nodes that we created on last stream that we sourced, and we want to get them to our Nattermob. I guess it's 8,000. Our Nattermob dev site, and then we want to be able to make a page for each of them. So if you do the 404, they should then show up here as pages. Like that is our goal for this stream, is to get all of these sourced YouTube videos as pages in Gatsby, right?
Yep.
That's a good summary. Yep. Okay, so then we've now queried for one in our Graphql, and then we want to go back to VS Code and then create that weird parrot page.
Yeah, so inside source pages, let's make a new file.
Yeah.
And open and close curly brackets .js. And inside the curly brackets will be YouTube .snippet.
It was but big T, right?
Yep.
But
and then underscore title.
Underscore. Because that was the nested object, then it's underscore. But on the first, it's dot, or did I do that wrong? It should have been.
Yeah, that's fine for the first one.
So there's a dot on the first one.
Yep. So just coming back, we're going to flip between the two. If we just jump back to Graphql quickly, if we have a look at the title, that title is, it contains all sorts of emojis and there's spaces, there's uppercase and lowercase. Now, under the hood for the Roots API, correct me if I'm wrong, Board, but this uses Syndrasaurus's Slugify.
Yep.
So this will take any string and turn it into a kebab-cased string, which is what will eventually become the file name and, in turn, the root. So what we should see in your 404 page for all the pages now would be a page for each of those.
But maybe
to put the page query in first. But so let's use the code exporter in Graphql and see if we can use that for now.
But do we have to though, or do we maybe just need to restart the dev server or not?
No, you'll need to have a page query, because else Gatsby will ignore it, because it would not know what to source basically.
Okay, smart. If somebody's hearing some noises, that's a 6-year-old trying to put herself to bed because we're running a little late. Yeah, so we want to do the exporter then.
Yeah, let's give that a go. Copy and paste.
Ooh, this is my kind of coding. And then we call it a YouTube page.
Yep. And then I guess we're going to want to make this an actual dynamic query. So we are going to need the ID, which is, if you remember from last week, we had that create node ID in that node. So we can now query each of
I just want to see. I'm impatient. Are they
Nothing
now?
yet.
Nothing yet. We still have to do. Okay, so we have to do the ID to make it work.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so impatient.
Okay, so before
Okay.
the first curly brace in the query at the bottom there.
Here.
Yeah. So write query, and then that's a function that will accept a GraphQL arg. So it's $ID :
And you can get this from the exporter as well if you make the query there.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, let's check it out. So how would we do that in the exporter? Here?
Yes.
In the query variables, isn't it?
Yeah, so you have to, on the left in your query, you have to, or you type it yourself, or you go to the Explorer, where you can basically, in the Explorer, you at the bottom have YouTube, and then there is ID higher, because we want the arc. So if you go a little bit higher, where the arrows are, like YouTube, and then the third child.
This one. Oh, so the purple ones.
Yes, and then you have EQ, and then you do $ID. ID. $ID without the quotes. But
Because
I don't know.
It gave me the quotes, so I'm not.
Maybe you have to do it inside the middle screen.
Yeah. So it shouldn't have the quotes. Okay, yeah, but we can do.
Yeah,
we can do that. Yeah, because of course
with the $. Because
I'm guessing here they want us to give us an actual one. I think we just like in the Explorer it wants us to give a value for the ID. I'm guessing, not so that's why it's putting the quotes on there. Yeah. But if we do then ID there. And then we run it, but we don't. And then we export it.
Yeah, you kind of want to add you can change it in the middle, like where you typed everything, and then you have the.
I'll do it in the editor.
That's good as well.
And then there we go.
$EQ $ID, and then what Paul was saying, the query on line 7, you still have to tell Gatsby that you have a parameter. Or GraphQL. But I'll let Paul take over again.
Query like that?
Yeah, and then ID, and then we type it $ID, and then type it as a string with a capital S. So the $ID in the YouTube query where we go equals ID will be equal to the query that's equal to the ID that's passed in on the query. Does that make sense? That's probably why you can't do it in Graphql, because it doesn't know what the query variable is.
But I guess we could have done if we removed this and then did our YouTube with the ID like that, and then we could have used that ID in here, and then we would have gotten the same.
I mean, you still need the query variable. I mean, I think you can do the query variable in the bottom pane as well, actually. But
but we got it going now.
Yep, that should be fine.
But where is it getting this from? Does it just know?
It's the magic we do behind the scene. Like whatever variables you have, we convert it to an ID because it's easier or cheaper for us to work with IDs than with text and strings. Just easier to look up, and we do it beforehand. So then this query is cheaper.
Cool. So should it work now, or do I need anything more?
You have an error, but I don't know.
No, I think it, and then it rebuilt again.
Okay,
I think the error was when I didn't have. So let's go back and see.
So hopefully it's working. Else we have to reboot it.
Do we need to restart? I don't know whether we need to restart at this point. Do we?
Let's do a restart.
I don't know. It's not showing up, so I don't know. Normally, we shouldn't, but seems like...
It might be because I first saved the file with just curlies, and then I created it, and then it failed because I hadn't put anything in it, or not, and then I put something wrong in it. So it might just be that it didn't really. realized
And
that I had to
we
go.
start.
I'm getting a question in from the side from the person putting herself to bed, so I'm just going to mute myself for a sec.
Well, I guess we can discuss some other stuff then, Ford. So maybe this was
I'm
I
back.
had a little. Oh, you're back.
Sorry.
Do you want to? Oh, good Lord, what's happening there?
I clicked the wrong button to open
right.
it. I do that all the time. But yeah, go ahead though.
Let's see if the pages are there, because I've got a couple of questions that maybe we can. Hey, there we go. So we've now got a page for each.
And this is the one we're doing now. No, this is the next one. This is the one we're doing now. Session 2. Yeah.
So I guess now let's have a quick pause, because we will eventually turn that data into some sort of readable HTML. But I've always been fascinated by this curly brace parrot pages because it reminds me of Mustache and Handlebars, but kind of in a different way. So if you can, Ford, could you explain a little bit how Gatsby escapes between the curly brackets to give us to read those variables?
So first off, we had to find a way to like find characters that basically do not end up in the browser normally. And curly brackets was a good one, and I think other frameworks were using it as well. So we just used that same ID. And then how we do it under the hood, we basically regex it. So we look for curly brackets and what's in between. And then the thing before the dot is our content model. So it's YouTube or a page, like whatever node module you have. And the reason why we have a dot and not an underscore, because the names of content types can have underscores as well. So that's like our differentiator between, is it a content model or is it basically the field that we want to have? And then behind, and then after, sorry, everything behind is all about fields. And then you have like maybe a little bit of weird syntax. We also have parentheses inside the field, inside your fields. But that's when you have union types, and a union type in GraphQL is basically if you have a parent and you don't know which type is going to be, like it could be 5 different types, like or, then you kind of have to specify which type you're actually looking for.
So I guess you could have something in that file name that could be one of a number of values that are or aren't there because they're maybe optional union types. Is that kind of what you're saying? A bit like how TypeScript might do it?
No, it's more like because the node modules are the node interfaces we have, they can be there's abstractions there, like every node type has a parent, every node type has children. So for image, for example, the parent is a file because we always start from files. But sometimes, let's say you have a subcategory, the parent could be another category, and but every type has a parent, and that's why they are unions in Gatsby. So they're not always optional. So it's just how GraphQL unions technically.
Okay, that's actually opened up 2 more questions I have, but I'm not sure if we've got time.
I mean, we basically have done what we came to do, other than we probably should make it a little bit nicer. And I also think we should talk about if title is the best approach for the permalink, because I go and change these titles all the time, Paul. So,
then
so
we
I'm
might
thinking
use something else.
I think maybe we want to use the YouTube ID because that we know never change. And then we can go in and do a little bit more of the chit chat. What do you think, Ola?
I think yes.
Yeah, I think yes, some more chit chat. But I'm seeing like everyone in this chat is amazed by your wardrobe, Ward. Like nobody's asking you any coding questions. They are like, how can you manage to keep it so neat?
Because it's a picture. No.
It's a picture. I'm gonna start using that. Be like, oh, my perfect, I'm just like, it's a picture. That was a good answer.
Yeah.
So, Paul, keep on with your questions.
Well, there's one thing that came up last week when we were doing the create node, and I think in the docs, and this isn't to knock the docs, but the docs mention what is required and what isn't, and it does say that parent and child are required, but in our Gatsby node we didn't put a parent and child in because parent would be null and children is effectively null. It would be an empty array. And so I left them out just to see if it was going to cause us a problem later on down the line. And so far it hasn't. So would that suggest that parent and children aren't required? And I might be incorrect in reading the doc. So maybe I should just double check that before I start bleating on about it. But there was definitely something, because it wasn't quite in a prop table, and it was like, this is required, and then some weren't required, and it's not overly clear. But
maybe they are required internally, but they're not required from the API point of view. So maybe that's where the docs could be wrong. Like internally, Gatsby always expects that there's a parent, like it's like if it's null or something, and the same for children. But for the create node API, it's not, because we'll just fill it in with empty.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I always, when I found the kind of that hierarchy that you can have parents of nodes, like super interesting, but I don't see people using it as much kind of in their own project. It seems like that's escaped a lot of kind of, and I think that has to do with a lot of the examples are usually blogs and don't really need it. Like, but for more advanced cases, I think it probably could be useful.
It's helpful for maybe variations of products and everything, because what the parent-child relationship basically does for Gatsby is when a child changes, or when a parent changes, all childs have to change. So let's say you have a product page with variations and the main product changes, you kind of want to rebuild all the variation pages as well. It would be tricky or difficult for plugin authors to like invalidate those children as well. So that's why we do it for them. So that's basically why it exists.
And I've used it because I like to do just plain markdown files, but then I don't want to give it a slug. So I used it to like grab that file parent of the markdown node, because the markdown node and the MDX nodes, I guess, all have the file as their parent. So then I went into the file and then I fetched the file name so that my slugs are the same as the file name, and I don't have to like double, because I see most of the examples I've seen online, people have like a slug field on their markdown pages, but I'm lazy, so I just want it. And that's the same thing with this, where we're sourcing from YouTube. I thought that would be a fun example, because I see examples where people then copy paste the YouTube link into some kind of JSON or markdown page and then kind of add it to their Gatsby site. But that's like always what I find fascinating about Gatsby, that way where you can like source whatever, get it into unified format, and then like spit it out. So I think that's why we started with like doing this kind of sourcing, because at least I find that super valuable in my...
Yeah, it's also the most difficult thing to explain to people, especially when you're writing it yourself. Like a simple example, like I think you did in the first video with YouTube, that's okay. But when it comes to like linking items, like you have maybe an author ID and you want to link it to an author, those kind of things, then it becomes more complex. And our docs do cover it, but you kind of have to know GraphQL pretty well to understand what they do. So that's something we at Gatsby need to improve on. Like how can we make those things simpler?
But I've heard the people doing the marketing at least call it like the content mesh. So it just needs to be as just need to make it as kind of cool or whatever, like Jamstack. Like everybody needs to know what the content mesh means, because I found that fascinating the first time I heard it, at least. We had a comment here from Brad about SEO. So he's saying like your approach, Paul, would probably then be better for SEO, because then we have the full title in the permalink. So that's probably better for SEO. And then maybe I will have to work on not changing the titles all the time whenever I feel like.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we still can use the title when we come to do our SEO component. We can still use that title somewhere in a meta
Yeah,
tag.
exactly.
I guess it won't. Yeah, it won't be the name. I mean, yeah. I mean, it swings and roundabouts. I mean, I guess if you were to change names, we would then maybe need to get into some sort of manual redirect thing. And I haven't investigated this, but I'm assuming Gatsby Cloud has got some sort of config thing where you can say, if it was this route, now go to this route. But that seems like a bit of a hassle. When all we really need to do is say, Benedicte, stop changing the titles of the YouTube videos. That's it. Like, we don't need technology. Just stop. Just agree what the title is before you put it live.
But you have to sure, all users are annoying. So, like me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very agile, isn't it? It's like, why agree what you're going to call the stream before it goes live? Just rename it later. What's the problem? And then you get all this like.
I want to at least,
effect.
I want to take the bears out and make it a pirate flag. The reason they're not is because I haven't upgraded my Mac, so I don't have the pirate flag emoji.
Well, yeah, but the emojis will get removed from the slug anyway. So Slugify will remove that.
But I think it wouldn't. Yeah, well, if they're all removed, because the pirate flag is 2 emojis combined. So I don't know then if it will remove. Or if it's added, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine it will just remove any emoji because it's not a valid character for a URL. Yeah. So,
but thank you for that, Brad. Like, we really want to do an SEO stream at some point, and then we can get some feedback from people who are really good at that to maybe do an audit of our Nattermob HQ website when things are done. Should we try to make it a little bit prettier? Our page?
So you want what, rather than rendering straight up JSON Stringify? Yeah, sure, why not? Let's put a bit of HTML in there.
Well, this is a good page. let's just do that.
All right. Well, what do you want to put in? Should we just render the title and the description?
Yeah. But I see here Brad says cool, and then I just want to plug that on our GitHub. Nattermob dev, we have a discussion tag that anyone can feel free to add IDs of what you would like us to add to the Nattermob dev site, that we might not really even need, but that you want to see built, then add it here, and we'll pick from that moving forward. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to.
So we agreed, then we're going to leave the root name, the title, and you're going to behave yourself and not change YouTube titles after we've pushed it live? Or we can just go to town on our 404 page and be like, the page you're visiting was probably renamed by Benedicte at some point. Here's her email address.
And then I think we have settled on having Lillian do most of our artwork. So so this will be our 404 page at this point.
Find the treasure.
Maybe we could get her to do a treasure chest as well. That was cool. I like that idea.
I can't see
it. I forgot to share my screen. There we
go.
So you didn't see the discussion either. I'm like,
top secrets.
So this is where you, Brad, or anyone can go and add IDs for what you want us to cover in future streams. And we'll add it to the Nattermob dev, and Nattermob dev will be this humongous Frankenstein of a site that can do anything. Yep.
Just a note on those discussions: go easy, everyone. I've got to work out how to do it once Benedict decides that we're going to do it. So if it's a monster feature, just go easy.
And then the Queen demands, and Paul has to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to our site, and then let me know when you want to do the tall tale, Lola, or jump in.
Well, if we rip through this, I don't think it will take too long, and then we can chat again.
Yeah, we can do that because probably, and then we push it up, and then we have to wait for Gatsby Cloud and stuff. We could do it then.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, look, let's get rid of that pre-tag with the JSON Stringify.
And let's just make it a proper component, because otherwise I like it when I like it when there's a return.
Yep.
I remember when I started learning JavaScript, that confused me so much when they some were returned and some were not returned. Now I understand it, but I still like to be explicit with my returns.
Plus, it makes it easier to put a console login because let's face it, that's the only debug tool we all need.
Well, I've actually learned though you don't, because you can do console log and then an or, because console log is false. Or is it and?
You can also return an array as well if you're mad. I don't know why, because then you have to give everyone an index. But like that's an option as well, to return an array. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but that was one thing a tech lead said to me once. I was like, just put a return in. Like it's not that big a deal.
Let's not be too fancy. Okay, so we want to. What do we want? We want
let's destructure the data to start with, I think, actually. So do you want to do that in the function, or do you want to do it? It looks like you're doing it there.
I can do it here.
So we can destructure data, and then it will be YouTube.
I don't like to do too much up there, because then it just gets confusing. So let's do just that.
Okay, well then it will be title and description from YouTube. Sorry, title and description from Snippet.
Yeah, so if we then do title, description, like that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that will work.
To query descriptions.
Oh yes, good point. In the GraphQL query at the bottom, we're only querying title. We'll have to add description.
Oh, and there's no commas here, right?
No.
I can't even spell. Let's just copy this.
Okay. And then what do you want to return? A main with an H1 and a P, maybe?
Yeah. So we do title. And then script. I can't. Oh, luckily. Thank you, VS Code, for
that one needs to be in
curlies. Oh, it needs to be curlies.
Get the curlies on it.
Get curlies on it. Get the parrots on it. Okay, that should be it, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Hey, there we go. All right. So we now have.
I know we said leave the styling, but sorry, I can't. We need like a margin auto on there. And then max width of, let's do 800 pixels. There we go.
Wow.
I now can look at this at least. Okay.
Just before we move on, another question for you, Vord. Maybe you can help me with this. Benedicte, if you whiz back to our YouTube page component, in the query, Vord, sometimes I name my queries, other times I don't. I'm not sure why, but sometimes it doesn't work if it's not named, and sometimes it does. Is there a pattern we should be following? I would rather not name them ever, because it's just easier, because naming things is hard. But is there any reason why GraphQL queries would need a name?
Well, we use it under the hood to basically rename every query. So for this page, we generate a query name just because we want them unique. And then there is a reason why we do it, but I cannot remember it.
I've seen it happen when I query, say if I did an anonymous page query like this, but then I had a use static query that also queried like all YouTube. And to be fair, I haven't seen that issue since early on Gatsby 2. I definitely haven't seen it since Gatsby 3, so maybe it's been resolved anyway. But just lots of projects and lots of demos and lots of docs and things you see, and obviously with Graphql, it kind of sometimes encourages you to name the query. And I'm never really sure, like, do we need to? Is there a reason?
You don't need to.
I'm guessing if you use a query somewhere where it's not on a page, then I guess Gatsby wouldn't know what to name it, and you would have to name it. If you create a static query on just like a regular component, because you could export like 5 components from a file, and then Gatsby probably wouldn't know which one it should like name the query.
I think we use a component name then, because the thing with Gatsby is we extract all the queries because we do it statically. And from that point, we name them, and we use Babel, Babel, whatever you want to call it.
Remove GraphQL queries. Yeah.
Yes, and we have the file then, and then we generate a name, but probably sometimes it goes wrong, where maybe you have a similar component name, maybe path or equal, I don't know, where we say like we only use the dir name and the component name.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the code.
I think actually the time I saw it happen, it was because I was using useStaticQuery, but I was using useStaticQuery in a hook, or like a function that was returned, and I was reusing that hook in multiple places. So I guess in theory, the query would be the same query, but because the hook was used in multiple places, I think that might have been why it needed the name. I guess because it couldn't extract the component name from a hook, because it probably wouldn't have had the React component display name or something to reference. Who knows? We've gone too deep. Sorry, I'm boring everyone.
No. This is deep dives.
We got someone from Gatsby on. I'm like, questions that I've been meaning to ask.
But we are, doing the deep dives and trying to kind of get past the regular how do you set up a blog kind of site, because so I like this.
Okay, well, I'll keep going then. I've got a million of these.
But TLDR, you don't need a query name unless you get an error.
Great. I mean, that works for me. So no query names unless it errors. Perfect. You've heard it from the source.
And since I just started that chat with Brad, I want to say that, you are not obliged at all. But if anyone has anything they would like us to do, put that in the discussions. So what more do we want to I would like to have that thumbnail here. I know that we have some ideas for next stream, but could we do it in just a regular image tag and not use the Gatsby image? Or should we, since we were so quick, should we try to make an index page with these on them?
Whoa.
Ola's got his special piece planned.
I have a question for Bart.
Oh.
I have it on my piece of paper here. So
I'll just do some styling and coding while you talk.
And I'll prepare for if we need to do the all YouTube thing.
Bart, could you tell us a tall tale?
Well, I have many tales, so I don't know which one to pick, but I could start with maybe do you want to have a real tale, or it's more talk about my farming at home?
Ooh, yes. Yes.
So I would start with I think 5 years ago we in Belgium we have police horses. I think everyone has police horses, and they were shrinking the amount of horses they had because for economic reasons. So we applied for a horse, and we got an ex-police horse. Which we of course nurtured very well, and then we got more into horses and everything, and I think last year we got another one, so we have now 2 horses, a small one and a ex-police horse, and from there on it only gets worse, because now last week we bought 3 goats, so I'm kind of starting a farm.
What kind of goats are they then?
They're I think they dwarf goats, but I don't know if it's the same in is the correct English translation.
They're small?
Goats. Yeah, we don't get large. I think they maximum get to 40 centimeters or 50 centimeters.
It's this.
Yeah. So and they're 6 months old now, so they're not that big yet. So.
You must bring them on the stream, man.
You should do a goat stream, you could make your own. You could have a look at the Nattermob dev site and see how you can import the stream and do it as a Gatsby site. But that's really funny, because I got back into horseback riding a year and a half ago, and a little bit of that is because my mom's best friend actually owns half a police horse, ex-police horse. So he was afraid of marching bands, which is very bad when you're a Norwegian police horse, because one of your big jobs is to be in the front of the parade on 17th of May, which is our national day, when there are marching bands and kids doing a big parade. So he couldn't do that part of the job, so he got retired. But other than that, he's an awesome horse.
Yeah, the same here. Like he's not afraid of anything, which was like like super handy because I was afraid of horses at the beginning,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because they are so massive. And
Yeah.
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 but now, like because I knew he was well trained, it was all
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And especially police horses are very big, like because they're usually the same. They want them to be the same size and then be above people when to kind of do that
But do you
surveillance.
ride it?
I don't, but
No?
Aline, my girlfriend, does. I'm just a groom. I clean up
You
everything.
know what? You know what? I started riding. So this autumn, I was, Benedicta and Lilian, our daughter, 6 years, they were riding, and then they wanted me to come, so I came. And I'm telling you, man, if you think the horse is big when you look at it, when you sit on top, shit, it's so far down. And I was sitting there, pretending not to be afraid. Yeah, I'm up for the horse. Yeah.
And you didn't even get one of the big ones, like
No, of course not.
the police horse is like 10, 15 centimeters higher, so.
I told the trainer. So the trainer said, I told the trainer, can I ask for a special horse? And he said, no. She said, sure. And I said, do you have a really calm one? And she was like, yeah. Are you a beginner? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that another fun fact though, Ward, you should hook up with Knut from Sanity on Twitter, because he's also the groom. So his wife
really?
or girlfriend has like 2 dressage horses that she competes with, and and I asked him, so he hasn't even he as well hasn't like been riding the horses. He helps out with the horses. So you got a common interest there.
It's my new
I love
best
this.
friend.
Yeah. No, but this is nice. I tried to add some more stuff. Should I do my screen again to see?
Yeah, and like I want to have deers as well. Like I don't know why I want deer, but I like deer. So I hope in the future to have enough space to have deer as well.
But I feel like you're doing what everybody is on Twitter is like talking. They're like, I want to quit computing and get a farm. Like, why don't do both? It's better than just quitting everything.
Yeah, planning for retirement.
Yeah. So this is fun because the live broadcast content, I think when I sneak peeked at it at some like the API, Paul, it will tell us if it's live or not.
Sorry, what? What?
I'm getting this live broadcast from the snippet, and I think it will tell us if it's upcoming or live. The stream.
Oh, right. So hang on. What do we want to do now?
I just wanted to add some more info on the page.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay, fine.
So I got the live broadcast content, which I think will say then true, or like will say if this is a live stream or not, and then just the channel title, and I put it in an aside just to have like a little bit more information.
Yep.
And there we go. And we're live. That's kind of cool.
The only downside with Gatsby is that you have to trigger a new webhook when it goes, like if it was non-live before.
Yeah. No, our plan is look at this. Look at the no. Where did I put? No, I put it. It's already demanded. Live now badge, because then we can do from the component. We'll do like a poll or something on the endpoint. Or on the netlify function, then calls the endpoint, something like that. Paul will have to figure out how we do it, but yeah.
A what function? A Gatsby function?
No, Gatsby Cloud function. Sorry. Yeah. So, and I wanted to be obnoxious. Maybe I want the whole page to kind of like, like
be
live now, or like, one of those GIFs, whatever. We're not going to do that discussion again. That kind of like blinks or something like that. That would be a lot of fun, like on the old radio shows. But yeah, so I guess we should not have that. We'll do the date instead, as you were saying, because doesn't make sense on a statically generated site.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, actually, Vord, because we did briefly look into it, and so the Google API that we're using, it does have webhooks, but you have to pay for them. So I think what we're going to do is GitHub Action to maybe just rebuild the site every 24 hours, or maybe just rebuild the site at maybe, you know, an hour after or an hour and a half after we've been live on a Friday, and then it can just, that would update. But I mean, that live thing's a good idea, but it's only going to ever be on the page for the 1 hour that we're actually streaming. And, you know, I'm sure our huge fan base can keep up with it. It's like, for the 6 people that are going to see it, it's a lot of work. So,
well, you know what? I want it. It's on the agenda.
Okay, yeah, fine. I mean, I guess more than that, it makes an interesting stream, doesn't it? But
no, because I think again, like that,
Benedict say. So
yeah,
you know.
but that again shows like how can you combine statically generated with some kind of API polling or like live content as well. And I guess like then we will have to have some placeholders so not everything rearranges. I think that could be like an interesting thing. So
the dynamic content mesh.
Yeah, dynamic content mesh. So this difference here, now I'm interested. I haven't done this in a long time. So what am I supposed to do here? So I have publish time and it says, well, that's not interesting. Publish time is when I made it. Don't YouTube have the time that it's actually sent? That is
that I guess would be the publish time, wouldn't it?
No, because is it the 21st? It's the 23rd. So this is the date that I made this video,
not the day we went live. But I guess it doesn't know from, well, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. That API that we're hitting is the YouTube videos list, and we're only extracting the snippet. There are other essentially queries we can pass in to the YouTube API, which might have more information. We just did snippet last week because it was, you know, it
Easy.
gave us the title and description, but there is more to that API. So maybe.
So let's just do a little bit of a forecasting then, because we do have the thumbnails here.
Well, this actually leads on to 2 things. One of my questions earlier about what you mentioned, Vord, with how GraphQL queries a file first, which will lead us on to images. And so in order to use Gatsby plugin image, the GraphQL type is going to have to be file, not URL, which means we're going to have to use create remote node, I think, so that we can create the child image sharp data from the YouTube image URL, and then we can query it in Graphql or in GraphQL and have Gatsby image data.
Yeah, we have some utilities where you can like if the CMS supports it, they can just generate a Gatsby plugin image data that works with it. So, for example, for Shopify, Contentful, Sanity, all of those, they can generate the data that Gatsby plugin image needs from the CMS. But because YouTube, I don't think have like
YouTube just gives us a URL. That's it. So we'll have to turn that into a node, like a file node, and type it.
Or if they support something like with query parameters, you could use a utility as well that generates like the breakpoints. But that's probably for another stream. But I think for our but you could use remote file node.
Now I think we are moving on to, like, I think the next thing to do if we're going to put an image thumbnail on this page would be the next stream would be how can we hook that up with Gatsby plugin image. And I don't know, maybe you could have a sneaky word internally with Mr. Matt Kane, see if he's available, because I've spoken to him a few times about Gatsby image stuff, and he would definitely be the person to discuss that with.
Now I just messed everything up. And we should be pushing this because we're trying to push every time to.
So what are you trying to do? Get the source for thumbnails, default URL. It's a source in the image tag, not a child. In the image tag in the HTML.
Oh, so of course. See, this is why I shouldn't be doing things at like the end of the stream, but let's do that. It's like, did I ever code?
And then if you want to be proper about it, it needs a
Ugh, what am I doing? Come on, Benedicta. Like that, right?
No
Yeah, it won't
No.
be. Yeah,
Sorry. Like
yeah,
that.
and then the alt would be the title probably if you want to be.
Oh yeah, that we should.
thorough
So there
about
it is. And then we do an alt title.
Yeah.
And then maybe we shouldn't do default because that was tiny. So let's do.
I think there's high, medium, and
So let's do high. Then we need to change this one to high. And then there we go. But do we have the link though to the YouTube? That would be interesting.
have a look in Graphql. What's available on the?
That's stupid of them.
Again, it might just be because it's not available on Snippet. There are other queries, so
maybe with ID you can generate it, but it doesn't look like.
I mean, what would the link be? Would it just be your channel ID and then the video ID, wouldn't it?
I think it would just be YouTube and the video ID, but we don't even have the video ID on here.
What is e-tag?
That's internally in Gatsby, I think. Right?
Further down under children.
Oh, there.
What is that?
Oh, maybe that is the YouTube ID.
It's not Gatsby.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure that out. So Eric has a question. Who's doing DevRel for Gatsby right now? I didn't even finish reading that. He's like plugging us. I was going to read it on screen, and then it's like,
well,
thank you, though, Eric. Thank you, though, Eric.
Yeah. Like we started every week now doing webinars about small things.
Yeah.
And Obina is like leading is the MC, I would say. Yeah. So next Wednesday we'll do a webinar about performance, how we made or gatsbyjs.com website from, I think, a lighthouse score from 40 to 75 or something.
Oh, so that leads us into plugging. I know you have something to plug, Ulla.
Yes. So, can I put my own screen on here? I can't do that.
Yes, you can. You press share screen. You do share screen.
Yeah, share. Yeah. Share screen. All right. I am making this book here. It's Lillian's drawings, some of it, and some of it is mine, but we're making it together, and we're releasing. It's a beta book, so we're releasing one email at a time, and it's 9 emails for the first chapter. So it's possible to sign up here with your name and your email. You know, don't use mine, use yours, and then and then there's no backend to that email thing, so I'll just send you emails manually, you know. Yeah, but it's very good for us to get the book out. We've been working on it for a year now, but finally getting it out. So I'd be very happy if somebody just signs up so we can send it out. It's the link is in my name down here. You see under my head. Wait, it's that side now. There, here.
Yeah.
olavea.gtsb.io/ook.
There you go. Now everybody can see it.
It's because it's on Gatsby Cloud. That's why I got gtsb.io.
Yeah. So this is a book that Lillian and Ulla has been working on while Ulla has been learning Gatsby. So
I need to say one more thing. And it's because what are we doing in the book? It's about no. Go back to big screen.
No, people need to see what I'm coding, Ulla, and then you just
no. I need to say one thing. Hey,
there you go, Ulla.
Okay, we talked about the parrot pages earlier. Yeah, here is a parrot page. You see the little parrot there? It's a parrot, and inside. We're using the date from my WordPress blog to make a time machine. That's what the book is about, how to code the time machine. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
So is there no more time for plugs?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
everybody
time to
must
plug.
plug. Everybody must
And-
plug.
So
Woo! Eric signed up! Yes! That's amazing.
Speaking of Eric, my plug this week isn't so much a plug, but a thanks to Leonard at Gatsby, who fixed a hot reload issue. So I've just put a link to the issue in the chat, which allows us now, Benedicte, to implement theme UI into Gatsby, and the hot reloading to theme object changes will refresh the page. I don't know if you saw the PR ward, but it was apparently something to do with React Live. And Leonard made the fix to Gatsby, which will go out, I believe, or may have already gone out in the next build.
Tuesday, I think.
But he also made the change to the theme UI repo. So kind of like meta open source there. So I know Eric is a big fan of theme UI as well. So we're both very grateful that now works. So that's my plug. Nothing else from me this week.
It's going to be released on Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. This is so good, having like the inside scoop.
Good. Do you have anything you want to plug? Or I can do my plug and then you can do your plug last word since you're our guest. So, and you can pull up your screen if you want to share. No, a share word, or I can pull it up. So I have to plug my app. Take charge of your menstrual cycle, the Privacy First Menstrual Cycle Journal, made with Gatsby. Well, not this page, though. That's Squarespace. But when you log in, it's Gatsby. So use paulie.dev. That's my plug. So, Ward, do you have anything you want to plug?
I didn't think about it, but maybe I should plug just Gatsby Cloud Functions. Like we have it in beta now, and you can sign up. I don't have the link right away. Like I'll look for it, but it's basically like we have Gatsby Hosting, which is like host your site.
Yeah, what's building
Gatsby.
right now? It's Gatsby build service, Nattermob.dev.
And it's built on Fastly, but the thing that we're still missing is functions, because you want to do API calls and you want to maybe hide secrets. So we are building functions right into Gatsby. Like the best way to host it, of course, is through Gatsby Hosting. But it will also work for like a better integration with others like Netlify, Vercel, because it's going to be right into Gatsby itself. So you can test it with develop and all of that.
Yeah.
Is
So
it
this would be Gatsby Cloud.
I've got a sign up link. I'll just drop it in the chat for the sign up.
I guess I should sign up. Oh, so Eric Paul is saying that he's now deep into style components.
Oh.
But that's on the professional project. I don't know if that's like his preferred way now, or if it's just because he's doing.
Then Eric, maybe I do have a plug. On my blog, Eric, is a responsive array syntax helper function that I wrote, which means you can use styled components the same way that we have been using theme UI with, your breakpoints on a CSS prop, and then you have your index values for the small, medium, and large. What do you know? I do have a plug.
The problem now is that we don't have the 404 page on the live, so I don't know what the site.
Oh, it's the dev server. You'll need to take a title of an
Well,
didn't we use? No, it's just title, right? We didn't use ID. Okay.
It says it's built. Oh, now it says it's built. Sorry, it was not built. So. Uh-oh. Maybe it's like caching issues. Maybe it failed. Didn't fail though. View the build logs.
In Gatsby Cloud, is it saying it's deployed or is it still deploying?
Did you merge it or?
No, of course, no. It's just built on my preview. Yeah, good time. Because otherwise, this would have been a bad note to like leave the the Gatsby cloud plug. So we've done it. I'm gonna do probably. Should I just merge it, or do we want to
merge it?
Merge it. Yeah, let's merge it, and then we'll have to figure out how to get the links and stuff, Paul, because otherwise it's kind of
yeah, that's fine. We can do that another time.
I found that it's serverless functions, right, Wart? Yeah, I found it. Can I share it now? Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop screen. No, I don't want to do that.
You click on your screen. I can do it. There you go. There you go, Willa.
This is my screen here.
Now you're on.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
gatsbyjs.com/functions.
Ooh, we're gonna sign up. Oops. We're gonna sign up. Okay.
Oh, we have to sign up to use it. Okay. Yeah.
It's still alpha. It's still alpha, so we're still fixing bugs, finding out what people are using it for, so we make sure that it's first class.
So Eric says that he still prefer Theme UI, but the project is already in style components. Good one, Eric. Do not just change out a tech just because you like it better if it's already working.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then he says bye-bye and YOLO merge. Let's see if it has worked though.
Eric, I've just put a link to that blog post in the chat if you're interested about the responsive for raae syntax, if you want to use it with style components. Sorry.
So let's see how we're doing with the building, and then we can. Oh, we're 6 minutes over time, but we'll see if we can get that to work.
See, this is what we were saying, Ward. It's a much looser vibe here on the Nattermob tip.
That's awesome.
I mean, we could do it like a, but
no, on a Friday.
It's like a Friday night. We're drinking. Well, you're in Europe, but our American friends are obviously enjoying lunch. So, but I think this is just gonna keep on building.
Do Americans booze on a Friday lunchtime like the Brits do? Because we like even.
I cannot imagine.
Like I remember my London days. It would be like you'd finish work at 12 o'clock on a Friday. Your manager would take you to the pub. And after 2 pints, it's like, I'm no good after that. I can't write any code after that. So, like, that was Fridays. So that was good. The contractor lifestyle, eh?
Yeah. When I was a student, I was actually asked to join this consulting program over like a weekend. It was Capgemini. And they flew us to France to their company castle outside of Paris. And we got we got taught different things. It was like a seminar, like with like consulting skills. It was super fun. But so the first lunch, at this like perfect restaurant, at this like castle, there was like waiters serving wine. I was like, yeah, I'll have a glass of wine. And then after lunch, going back into lectures, I was like, because like one glass of wine will make you tired. So either you have to go for like 2 or 3, or you kind of just like not. So the next day I was like, no, I'm going to wait until dinner.
Yeah, if you're going to go for Friday beers, you've got to commit to it. I mean, Agatha said, I missed the cheeky Friday beers. No, not cheeky. You've got to commit. You've got to, I want 4 or 5 pints. None of this 1 pint. Everyone talks about larging it, but nobody commits to larging it. So if you're going to go for a Friday pint, make it 5 and then just go home hammered. That's what you got to do.
It reminds me of my internship in Norway. Like I've been in Bodø for like 3 months.
Bodø?
And,
oh, wow.
And how do I say it? The one who was in charge of me, he said like Wednesday, that's little Saturday, we have to drink. And then Friday noon, we have to drink. And then Saturday, we have to drink as well. So.
Yeah. That's Norway. Yeah.
It's Norway for you. No, but it's also allowed to say no. Like, that's what I like. I have a client now where like, you know, the guys like to drink and stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. And some kind of sales dude joined us and he was like, you gotta drink. But then like the boss man, he was like, nobody has to drink. And the sales guy stopped like, you know, bugging me about it, because he was like, you know, do whatever you want, it's fine. So but I like it. I like to drink every now and then anyway.
What are we drinking?
Well, I'm drinking a Limonata Pellegrino.
What's that?
It's like a soda.
Oh.
I'm doing sodas on this stream because otherwise, you know, I almost can't spell if I was going to drink as well. Like none of your words would come out with proper coding, you know?
Yeah. Fair point. What are you drinking, Ula?
I'm drinking my port as usual from my father's old casket. Cheers!
Well, I'm drinking Brewdog's Punk IPA, but because I'm an absolute massive fanboy. Oh dear, what's that? Little Gatsby Silly Site Challenge mug. Look at that. So that's my grog mug.
You have more swag than me.
I think I've got a full complement. I've even got, look at this, what a fanboy. I've even got like my Gatsby Days water bottle. I'm not wearing my Gatsby hoodie, unfortunately, because, I mean, quite frankly, purple's just not my colour. I can't put it off. Doesn't go with the flat cap. If you can make Gatsby flat caps, that would be awesome, actually.
Send it to me. I don't have a purple Gatsby sweatshirt. I only have the gray one. But we have the purple. Ula's wearing it, the purple hat.
Well,
maybe we should
I was
just
going to bring up Ula's hat because you've talked about it twice off stream before, but can we explain what's going on there?
It's a Gatsby logo modified as a skull.
I am a skull. Hello.
Yeah.
I made it together with Lillian. You know, she was building Legos, and I was I used needle and thread to sew it on. Do you see the eyes there? Yeah, and it's only got 2 teeth. You know, because it's been fighting so much. Yeah.
Very good.
So this is unfortunately not like the best, but the best look for Gatsby, but we're sharing it anyway because we're still building.
Oh no.
So our pull request built pretty fast, but this main is obviously but I'm not paying.
Talk about something else.
I'm not paying, so I think I'm not getting.
I would say click on the show the logs. Maybe I can see what's going on. Maybe it's even a bug that we can escalate.
Oh, we should install the Gatsby plugin in Gatsby Cloud. We haven't done that.
Yeah. What does that actually do? I've done that on a few things that I've done with this, but I haven't actually looked into what it does.
So it's basically sets up Fastly correctly, like with all the extra headers to make it speedy.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
All the preload headers, but also enables dynamic routes on Gatsby Cloud, which they don't work without it. But we're working into that it's automatically being installed.
Yeah.
We don't have it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Seems like it's stuck.
Yeah, seems like it's stuck.
So I think you better cancel build and build again.
There we go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it happened on a stream that you saw as well, didn't you, Ula? That it kind of got stuck.
No comment.
No comments. So I'm guessing we could also just call this show, like, I don't know, fanboys and girls of Gatsby, with all our swag and our I wouldn't say love, but you know, what can you say if you don't say? Now I don't find the English words, but we like Gatsby, I guess is the point.
We're Gatsby apologists. That's a bit hard, actually, isn't it? But
So Ula asked, even though it says my name there in the chat, what country people are in, and AK is like in God's own country. I'm guessing that's the UK, or and we're in Norway, which I don't know if you knew that, Ward, since you brought up Norway. You were here on an internship, which I find fascinating. What kind of work was it?
It was an agency and the company called ETET.
ETET?
Yes. They worked for Santander, for
Oh,
a lot of other
interesting.
customers.
Yeah.
Just internship computer stuff like coding.
Mm-hmm.
Was it summer or winter?
It was internship itself was like from February to May, but then I actually worked 2 years for the company, and it was like I stayed in Belgium, but I had those trips to Norway from time to time, so it was more like vacation, I would say, but it was fun.
Yeah. Nice. Yorkshire. AK's in Yorkshire, and we're in Oslo, Norway. And where you're at, Paul?
I'm by the sea in the UK. I'm on the south coast.
Mm-hmm.
So you might occasionally hear seagulls. That's not because I'm in the galley of my ship. That's just because I'm actually right in the coast. But how piratical would that be?
Yeah, it would. So I think I'm just going to head on into the summary. I think we have hit a snag here in the Gatsby Cloud. So we're going to try and summarize what we've done today, and then we'll say our goodbyes. So what? Add to stream. There we go. Today we started with, is everything running? So I can actually show people. Yeah. We started in Graphql to find our nodes. So in the last video or stream, we created YouTube content nodes from the YouTube API. So that was interesting. We hit the YouTube API and we created these nodes. And then we went in here and we looked at what type of information we had. We added snippet, which is called from YouTube, and then title, description, and channel title. And we got that data out. We used a code exporter. And then we created a file that is called youtube.snippet --title. And if we go back here, that would be youtube.snippet for our first object, and then -- for our then nested object to get this title to be the name of our page and actually then our URL. So if we go back to our dev here, we see that we then have the URL is the name, is the title of the stream, and all of my weird things are stripped out, so we get like a nice permalink here. So that was the first thing we did, and then we used that exported graphical query here, and we had to add query ID string so that Gatsby knows which node data to put into here. And then we just made a very simple page with the main and an H1 and a side and some description tag there. And I couldn't help myself. I needed to just add some inline styling, but that has no functional use. That was today's stream.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. And it took us a little over an hour with all the chit chat.
That was fun. I mean, it's
Yeah,
good to have you all as a guest, like our first
Yeah.
guest. I enjoyed it. So thanks for your time. It was really
Yes,
helpful.
thank you
so
very
much for
much.
answering the questions.
Thank you for having me. It was
Yeah,
super
and-
fun.
Yeah, and you can let me know if you want your image with the pirate hats as your new avatar everywhere.
Yeah.
Why not?
Branding going. You're an official pirate now.
We're never, yeah. You can never leave the Nattermob pirates. You're in here forever, or in our midst forever.
Now, are we going to do our traditional thing where we announce that it's the end of the stream, and then we all sit here waving like idiots for 30 seconds until someone actually presses stop? It's like, so just be prepared, Will. Just wave and just keep waving until someone says stop waving, and then we know it's the end of the stream.
I can do
How does
that.
that sound? Okay, ready?
Now it wanted to rebuild again. Let's see if it actually rebuilds this time. Should we give it another? Do you have another tall tale word? You said you had many.
Yeah, but I have to find them, of course.
Yeah.
My memory, because my memory isn't that great.
But do you live on an actual farm? Is it a real farm?
No. So currently I'm in an apartment, but we are building our house. So not that far away from there, and there's enough land where the horse is going to be in like a week. The goats are already there, and then the other horse, he has to go to a stable for now because it still needs training. But yeah, so I'm building my farm slowly, but it's not yet there.
Yeah, that's how I'm building my app this time around, slowly, a little bit at a time, not doing it all at once. Well, we're just going to leave this building and just do the goodbyes.
Okay, get ready to wave.
Do you want to say some outro, Ola? Have you practiced an outro?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
But I
it's
can say
deploying.
the
It's
same.
deploying. It's deploying.
Yes, show us. Yeah. Yes, I have an outro. I have an outro. Yeah, I promise.
So if people haven't realized that Ola and I live together, and me not being able to say goodbye without spending another 10 minutes is one of the things he finds infuriating. So
No,
we're just doing
I'm
that
getting
live on
used to
stream.
it. I'm getting used to it.
It's been the longest goodbye ever. So we're now approaching 19 minutes to say goodbye.
What are we doing next week, actually?
It says deployed. Yeah, we
Do we
want to
know?
do Gatsby. We think we want to do Gatsby image, if we can get some help on that, or and if we don't, we'll do the index page, I think, right?
Yeah, we can use Gatsby Hosting. Hey! Yeah!
Arr.
There we go.
Thank you, Gatsby Cloud. Okay, then you can do your outro, Ola.
Yes. Thank you for watching us on another unauthorized and rum-fueled treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands with Gatsby Deep Diving Queen raae and her Nattermob pirates! Bye!
Bye. Keep waving, Lord. Keep waving.
Bye, 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 bye,
Wave.
bye.